What's up, guys? Welcome back to White Sox Daily. I am Aaron Feely with a little bit more Chicago White Sox news for the day. Obviously, coming right off the heels of some really big news yesterday, with, of course, the Murakami signing for Chicago, a massive, massive deal for the White Sox, and potentially a real look into what could be the future of this team and what could be on the horizon, especially once the Ishiba brothers kind of take over from Jerry Reinsdorf. We obviously heard some rumors that it was quite possible that this particular signing was much more of an Ishiba brothers kind of orchestrated deal, that they kind of had their ears to the ground there, kind of in Chris Getz's ears, telling him, that they would kind of foot the bill for this one. No word yet as to how much truth there is to that. The White Sox have yet to confirm or deny any sort of, you know, percentile or anything like that as far as which owners at this time were more or less or whatever involved in any of these moves. But obviously, very exciting to sign such a promising young player. Nicknamed Japanese Babe Ruth for a reason, showcases tremendous power. A guy that has just been a phenomenal bat over in Japan to this point, and we now know where he's going to play defensively thanks to the press conference that aired earlier on today. He played primarily third base in Japan, and he is set, though, to make the official switch. The Chicago White Sox, Chris Getz, announcing that he envisions Murakami primarily at first base for this upcoming season. So there we have it. There's a lot of speculation. A lot of people kind of assumed that's where that fit would kind of be most natural for him. A guy that was not particularly well skilled defensively in Japan. Kind of just slid into third base by default based on the teams he played for. Much more known for his bat. He is a phenomenal power hitter and a great hitter overall, but a guy that's not really going to be competing for very many gold gloves in his career unless he makes some fairly significant improvement. But right now, the Chicago White Sox view him as a day one, heart of the order guy, a guy that can come in here and put up numbers right from the jump and hit in important situations right from opening day. So that's obviously very promising that the White Sox themselves already view him as that type of player. He's a guy that in his press conference came out and kind of endeared himself to some fans already with the "my heart goes out to you" comment, and then of course the little bit where he pulled out a white sock as he, kind of made that cornball joke. But yeah, it looks like he's going to be playing a lot of first base this coming year for the Chicago White Sox, and we hope the best for him. We obviously haven't had a great deal of success with our first base position really since Jose Abreu left for the Houston Astros several years ago. We thought Andrew Vaughn might be able to just slide right in there, take that role. Did not work out in the slightest. Gavin Sheets was tried there. That didn't really work out. Tim Elko was, brought up, kind of, maybe, no. We've played some catchers over there. We've played Lenyn Sosa over there. Miguel Vargas was okay over there for a while, but it feels like maybe third base might be a better position for him at this time. And yeah, it looks like Murakami will take that side of the corner for now. He's played it a little bit over in Japan. He was primarily third base there. The White Sox, seeing his lack of defensive prowess, fitting him more closely, though, at first base at this time. Most importantly, though, he's here to hit home runs. I mean, that's what he's here for. That's what we're bringing him in to do. And then he'll do a little first base because he has to. And that's about it. But if you're looking to view a bit of Murakami this year, some issues already arising for those of you outside of the local network. I myself live primarily out of the Kansas City network in a town about an hour north of Kansas City. And the CHSN, Chicago Sports Network, first of all, with the audacity, you can't get the White Sox locally anymore. You have to go through CHSN to get the White Sox, Bulls, and Blackhawks at this point. But obvious, the other options right now, you could try to go through MLB, you get the sports package there. That one's running you, a little over $200 to get that package, to get all the White Sox games. ESPN Plus carries the Blackhawks games. The Chicago Bulls, they're CHSN exclusive at this point. And they're charging $30 a month if you want all three of your sports teams from Chicago from out of network, which is a bit insane considering that's more than the ESPN Plus bundle is costing you. I mean, if you want Disney, Hulu, and ESPN, you're getting all that for less than CHSN is charging you, just to not give you any of their broadcasts if you live outside Chicago anyway. So I'm not really sure what the point of putting that on a streaming platform was from the beginning. So anyone that wanted to tune in and see the press conference earlier today live, if you were outside Chicago city limits, sorry. I mean, if you're outside the Chicago network, no deal. You're going to have to wait for them to post it on YouTube, which they did do later on in the day. But yeah, obviously that was a big thing right there off the bat, live, unavailable to anyone outside of Chicago. If you're looking to pay for some White Sox games and didn't want to pay the ridiculous prices of the MLB app, you were thinking, okay, maybe I'll just pay a monthly fee to CHSN. Nope, not an option. You're going to have to go through MLB and get the package through them. It's the only way to legally watch them if you're outside the network. I really think the Chicago White Sox, and really all three of those teams, desperately need a better deal in place for their television broadcasts, for their extra stuff, their pregame, their postgame. That app has just been a disaster to this point. That the Chicago Sports Network, an absolute train wreck. I'm not sure how in the world these teams were talked into this deal. There must have been a great deal of Comcast money involved. It has been atrocious. It's been primarily unavailable to most people. Expensive, unavailable, clunky, too much buffering, a ridiculously awful app, and we're hoping that some of that stuff gets buffed out as time goes by here, but I mean, for this upcoming season, still not looking great. And especially, we just signed a guy like Murakami, who's going to have a great deal of a following from his Japanese fan base back home that are going to be curious about the Chicago White Sox and want to watch him here on the South Side. Going to be totally unavailable to them because of this ridiculous setting that the Chicago Sports Network has. To make this app unavailable to everyone outside of the local Chicago market is ridiculous to me. It is behind the times at this point. Need to get an update there. Need to make it widespread availability on that CHSN application at this point. But we're going to move right on along after that quick rant about the Sports Network app and talk a little bit about what the prospects are looking like of a Luis Robert trade. We've obviously heard the Mets and Reds both kicking the tires with the Chicago White Sox, trying to look into what it would take to get Luis Robert away. Chris Getz has kind of already said it would take a big haul, but I'm willing to listen. But considering we already know that Braden Montgomery is already penned in, that he is not going to be playing come opening day or probably for most of the first half of this season, and that's best case scenario, he even makes his debut in 2026, does it make any sense at all with the limited pro-ready prospects that Chicago has for the outfield right now to trade Luis Robert? I mean, obviously, you're not looking to try to win a World Series this season, barring a really spectacular chain of events that takes place for the White Sox. But to just throw out Benintendi and then whatever else you can scrounge together, I mean, that just feels like such a slap in the face at this point. I just don't know that they have enough outfield options unless they have a big signing in their back pocket they're waiting for to justify this trade at this point. But let us know in the comment section below how you'd feel about it. Would you feel comfortable just heading into the season with, some AAA boys being called up and that's the outfield for this upcoming year? Let us know in the comment section below. And one of those options that was just recently added, former Texas Ranger Dustin Harris joins the Chicago White Sox on a minor league deal. Expected to be more of a depth signing, but it is a signing. It does add to this outfield room that Chicago, as we just mentioned, isn't greatly deep at. He's a guy with just 46 major league appearances to this point. No longer really viewed by Texas as one of their hot upcoming prospects, and well, especially now that he's not with them anymore. They kind of petered out on him a little bit. He's 26 now, had a very rough 46 games up with the Texas Rangers. One home run. That's 46 at bats, not games. Collecting just 8 hits, 1 home run, 2 RBIs. Did have a decent year down in AAA for the most part. 285 batting average, 11 home runs, 41 RBIs at 425 plate appearances. He did draw 44 walks, but also struck out 74 times. And a guy that they just kind of, they've waited long enough. They've decided they're ready to move on from him. Fair enough. The Chicago White Sox might as well take a flyer. You desperately need outfield help, so why not? And that'll do it for today's news here on White Sox Daily. I've been Aaron Feely. We'll see you guys again tomorrow.